YouTube, what is going on today? We're back with another guide, and today we're going over the monk mommy Jianxin. I'm illiterate. I have said some decent things about this character. The CN community thinks this character is pretty mid. I don't 100% always recommend this character to people because I feel as if there's other units that do what she does better other than CC, but CC I feel like isn't as important at the moment. But that being said, she's actually a very strong character and can be really, really good DPS, which I'm going to show off today. So we're going to go over some DPS. We're going to go over some CC as well. This Jianxin has 80 over 191, which is a pretty valid split. Yeah, let's just break down her kit because, you know, one thing about her kit is it's wordy. There's a lot of words on the screen, so let's look over this. Her basic attack, she performs consecutive attacks, whatever. Really nothing new here. She does scale off of attack as well. Her resonant skill, so now there's parrying in the game when you have that, you know, yellow circle around the enemy to go ding, you know, but she also has a built-in parry as well, which is very useful. So hold resonant skill to enter parry stance. When Jianxin is attacked in the parry stance, she does not take damage and immediately performs chi counter, dealing arrow damage. Release the resonant skill button during parry stance to interrupt parry stance and perform chi parry, dealing arrow damage. So he's gonna come, I'm gonna hold the parry, bam. So it attacks him, and it also gives you some chi, which is in the Forte circuit. We're gonna go over what the chi is in a moment in the Forte circuit, and her kit really revolves around that Forte circuit, the chi, which we're gonna look at right now. This is a lot. This is a lot. You know the vibes. I'm giving you the most basic rundown of this. Her chi works like this. When she has max chi, there's going to be two markers here, right? When you have this max amount, it even shows you here, it says you want to hold down your charge attack. She is going to now start pretty much consuming this chi. Every time she hits a marker, she's going to get a stronger shield. And actually, when the shield completes itself, she's going to heal herself. The other good thing about the Forte circuit is when you are doing the charge up with the chi, they do get a 50% damage reduction and some defense res. So when you're fighting someone and you're doing the charge up, you're not going to be immediately knocked out of the animation. You do have a fighting chance to kind of stay in there and keep it. So that is very nice as well. So it helps you. It really negates the whole like, oh, am I going to get knocked down? Am I going to? Because my whole problem was before the game came out, I didn't really know her kit. My biggest worry was, okay, am I going to get knocked back using this character? It's situational, but they do give you interruption resistance, which is very nice. That is pretty much the basis of the Forte circuit. How do you generate chi? You simply go around normal attacking people, or you hit perfect parries. That is it. Now, obviously, there are some multipliers and a little bit more in-depth stuff here. So, like, for example, it breaks down what happens if you hit before the first arrow, and then what happens if after the second arrow. It's really simply, you get a stronger shield, and you just, as time goes on, you do more damage, obviously, because the attacks are going off more. And the whole point is you want to try to finish that complete charge with the chi so you have the highest shield possible along with the heals. I mean, this is a pretty decent shield that it's providing right here. You know, I'd say that's like 35% of the health, which is pretty valid. And it's still healing her. It's giving her 1,300 ticks. So that's pretty valid as well. So the shield is gone as long as that little yellow aura that you saw, that is the heals. That is the Forte circuit. Now, we'll get to the nodes in a bit. The ult is very good in my opinion. This is where I think personally she shines. I wouldn't use her as a main DPS. I'd really use her as a sub, but we'll talk about it. Creates a strong wind field, continuously pulling targets within the wind field to the center, causing arrow damage. When the wind field disappears, it will cause arrow damage to all targets within the range. She has massive CC capabilities with this. Going into tower, and a bunch of enemies are off. I'm calling it all over the place. Off rip, it's really recommended. You could swap out to her. Bam. Throw her thing on the floor, get a concerto energy, swap out to someone else, etc., etc. So that's very good. Her intro skill pulls targets within the range, dealing arrow damage, more CC, and her outro skill is very good. Gives 38% resonance liberation damage deep and for 14 seconds until they're switched off field to whoever goes back on field. So she really, really is, she could really hit all the boxes. She could hit a main DPS, she hits a sub DPS, and she could hit that support / healing role because of the fact that if you get enough chi, she could give herself the shield / healing. And that's good, but it's also a little weird, and I'm not going to say bad, but you know, she doesn't do the best in every slot. So the nodes, when you upgrade these, you're going to get crit rate, which is very good because crit rate is lacking 100% in this game. Attack here, and then this Forte circuit node is damage of resonance liberation, purification for field is increased by 20%, so you do more damage from your CC, your suck. And the last one is the shield obtained with heavy attack primordial chi is increased by 20%. That's actually a pretty big shield. So hypothetically, you would get a shield probably up to around halfway here, around 50% of their max health, I assume. But overall, that's her kit, right? So her build varies in how you want to play her, right? So if you were let's start with the Echoes first. If you want to build her as a main damage dealer, I would recommend this set, the Sierra Gale. And then her best in slot is going to be the Monkey. This is actually a god piece, by the way. Sidebar, shout out to the homie for letting me on their account. The Monkey is the easiest one. It makes the most sense. Dealing arrow damage, increased current, characters, arrow damage, and heavy attack damage. All you got to do is one hit with the Monkey and you swap out. You know, you just do the cancel. It's pretty light. Substats, crit rate, crit damage, resonant skill, heavy attack damage bonus. Maybe you want energy regen just for the fact that if you're really trying to use the ult as much. But yeah, that's pretty much the basis. Resonant skill damage would be good as well. These are all really good examples of artifacts. So arrow damage, main stat on these 3-piece ones. And yeah, that is if you want to make her a main DPS. Now you could run this set to make her a main DPS still, but she can run the Moonlit set as a sub DPS. And you know, some people might say that's a little bit better because it gives her the 10% energy regen, and after using outro skill increases the attack of the next resonator. So hypothetically, you can get her Concerto energy. You know, if she has enough chi, you do her chi charge up real quick, which she will get some interruption resistance for. You throw down her ult and bam, swap out, and that way you're giving the next person more of a buff, as well as having the CC stare instead of kind of just locking in on her own personal damage. What do you run with this? My assumption is probably going to be still the Empyrean's Heron. The best 4-cost Echo for this set, just for the fact it increases next character's damage dealt. Simple, basic, again, sub DPS role. Similar substats you would want there. Arrow damage, Resonance Liberation, Resonance Skill, crit rate, etc. Attack. Weapons are pretty simple. This is a perfect one, Stenard. When Resonance Skill is released, increases the caster's Resonance Liberation damage by 18%. It gives crit rate, which is very good. Obviously, the best in slot is going to be the focus one from the Convenes. If we go over here and swap here, bam, is going to give her double attack. When hitting a target with Resonant Skill, increase basic attack damage by 10%, lasting for 8 seconds. When hitting a target with basic attacks, increase Resonant Skill damage by 10%. So, you know, the back and forth with you buffing your chi, you're buffing your normal attacks, and how do you get them? You have to do normal attacks to get your chi. This is really good. Very valid, very good weapon. Very nice, great success. Those would be the 2 weapons I go for off rip. There could potentially be some other weapons to work with. Again, I think it really depends on how you're going to play this character, due to the fact that there are a lot of options. You know, there's going to be some rectifiers that are going to give you the ability to get more healing, especially if you're using her as a healer / support. So it varies. This one, it's a little bit of a cop-out answer, but it's the truth. Find the one that fits the role you're going for. All right, so let's get some gameplay in. We're gonna go fight my demons. Let's go fight a hologram, and then we're gonna also throw them in the abyss. So now I'm going to demonstrate a DPS version. So the rotation. So we're gonna start off with Jianxin's Monkey. We're gonna swap out to Verena, get Verena's burst. Once we get Verena's burst, we are then going to pop a Mort, get Mort's ult up, his Concerto energy, bam, go back to Jianxin, and then do our thing. So let's go. Start this off right now. Get the markers here with Verena. Yup. Bam. And then now we're gonna swap back to you. And well, really could. I didn't realize that my Forte circuit was built already, but bam, as you can see, we took interruption resistance when they were hitting us, so they did some damage, but they only knocked us back a bit. Now, my biggest problem is that the shield is just not the strongest thing in the game. And that's why I personally don't like her. Not that I don't like her. Let me rephrase that. I just think that there's better options, especially for something like that, like sustain. So, but okay, we're going to do this again. So we'll swap, go to Mort here, get you in. So I would like to get your burst, Verena, if that's cool with you. I'm probably not going to get it. So back to Mort. We're not even going to use Verena. Now we'll go here. You know, I kind of got nervous. There we go. And it does damage. It's not that it doesn't do damage. I just feel like there is more damage potential with other things. But it's okay. We're going to burst here. And we're actually about to have our chi fully back again already in 2 seconds. Now, if I had my E up there, that would have been a great time to parry. She does come in clutch with moments like this when you don't think you're going to be able to parry. And then now we'll do this. Also, the fact that the boss can kind of just run away from your, your charge, you're stuck to that specific moment. If you don't get it done, like if they're moving away from you in that specific moment, it's kind of like, that's it. Like that, what more is there? Not really that much. So that's my one problem with her is the fact that like her main DPS output is coming from that Forte circuit, and they could just run away. They could just run away. But that's the basis of it. You know, overall, very solid damage. Nothing too bad. Is still a very good character. Now I'm going to bring this DPS build into the Tower of Adversity, and then we're going to go over some team. Let's see what the deal is. Character's arrow damage increased by 30%. Upon casting Resonance Liberation, gain 8% attack and 5% damage reduction. Okay, valid. That's actually really good for this one. So, off rip, I'm going to do this to get the DPS going. Excuse me, the CC. And that's what I think she excels in, is this CC part. Everything else is kind of like, in my opinion. Now we got to build up her chi. I'm going to hit an E off rip just to get that chi going. Yep. And at this point, I wouldn't want to waste my my suck here with just these two enemies. So I think we're just going to kind of hold off and wait a moment or two. Okay. Hit me. Stupid. Okay. Do I have Rena's burst up? No. Do I have Mort's up? Yes. Okay. All right. Now we're just going to do this. And very solid damage. I mean, very solid. Again, though, am I able to get all of them at the same time? Also, you can see my shield is even higher than it was previously. We'll suck you up in here, even though there's no one else left. I'll do this to get my chi back. And again, we're just building up chi. Nothing really too crazy here. It's about to be full. And then now we're going to do this. I should have saved the burst there low-key, but it's all right. What can you do? Do this. Do I have Rena's burst up? I do. We're going to mark the enemies. Cool. And then cancel that real quick. And let's do this. So overall, you can see the pattern here. You can see what's going on. Not bad, just not my favorite. In you know, in my complete honest opinion, I would personally rather do this with someone else. This is what I would use her for, the CC. You know, and then now that they're CC'd, I'll do that, and I can't hit that one that's all the way back there. So I'm just kind of sitting there. So that's the playstyle, man. Again, not a bad unit at all. Oh, there's one behind me. Not a bad unit by any stretch of the imagination. And I don't want to promote that they are a bad unit, because they're not. It's just the fact that it's not my favorite playstyle, and I think someone like Jian not only gives himself CC, but he is a DPS, so he could swirl all those people up in one point, and you don't have to worry about grouping them all together before you start your chi duration. And I also feel as if there are just other sub DPSs. I would rather run, let's say, Kalkaro and Sanhua as opposed to this. Teams with Jianxin. So now for the DPS team that I'm going to show you in a moment, we would go Jianxin, Verena, Mortefi. Now, this one's pretty self-explanatory. Outro skills gain heavy attack damage, and Verena is going to give you the overall general buff. You're really using Mortefi here for the coordinated attacks of the ult, because you can do the coordinated attacks with this. You could throw Sanhua here instead. Sanhua is 100% interchangeable, and they would give you basic attack damage deepen instead. Now, if you are running Jianxin as a support, I would go, you know, there's quite a few options for Jianxin as support. You can run Jian, you can run Donjin for Donjin, and then you can use Jianxin for healing. You can run Kalkaro, Sanhua, and Jianxin for CC. That way you can kind of group them all together. Yeah, I just think her role is felt better in other places. But that's really what we're looking at, man. So that is Jianxin. Let me know what you think. Mwah, I love you. I'll see you in the next one.
It's calling my name. So come on, baby, let's stop playing games.